Okay, so we're here at Paragon in Soma with Matt Mullenweg, who is one of my favorite web entrepreneurs. Our site is on WordPress. He's the creator and founder of WordPress, and I have a personal man crush on Matt Mullenweg. I do, I have to say. Anyway, Matt, now that I've made you completely uncomfortable, we've been having a really interesting discussion about a lot of things, some of which we can't talk about here, but about, where publishing is going on the web and elsewhere. So I want to sort of get your thoughts. You created one of the companies that allows people to publish, and you have how many millions of page views now?
700 million. But the uniques is the really interesting story. Uniques are around 140 now.
Wow, that's like as big as Yahoo, essentially, but in all these different...
They're like 140 US, we're 140 global.
Right. So what's going on in this way? Are these a lot of little sites or big self-publishing, or what's going on from your perspective?
There's some big sites. I would say about 20 to 30% is what we term our VIPs. So that's like AllThingsD, CNN,
yeah, we're VIPs.
Fox, those types of folks. And the rest, though, the 70% is from folks like you and me who might start a personal blog, just something.wordpress.com.
Right.
And everyone's famous to 15 people.
Right, but that's so true. But what do you think is happening in publishing in general? Because a lot of big companies have gotten into it. They're using WordPress, they're using Sixpart, also Drupal. What's happening in general, and how things are going to sort of shake out in that arena?
I think there's a really interesting arbitrage going on, because you have some of the smartest journalists, the O'Malley's, Matt Marshalls, they're leaving and they're doing their own thing.
Right.
And they're doing well. And not fantastic yet, but they're doing pretty well. They're supporting themselves in some interesting companies around them. Yet you also, at the same time, you have New York Times and CNN and Fox and Wall Street Journal starting blogs like wildfire, like as fast as possible.
Go ahead.
And there's the disparity between the incomes.
Yeah.
Between those is huge.
Right.
And I think it's similar quality content.
Absolutely.
So the people who were creating the content for Business 2.0, and now they're doing their own thing. And there's a content, money, advertising arbitrage.
Now, talk about the money part, because there's a lot of these social networking, a lot of these sites, no money anywhere. It's just sort of interesting, and it's definitely a trend as people break away from traditional publishing sort of paradigms. How do you make money at this?
Well, I like our position because although we have a lot of page views and things, it's around content. It's not around photos or people trying to connect with each other or meet each other, meet a girlfriend or something. It's traditional content, much in the way that the media business has operated for a long, long, long time. So, what was the question?
How do you imagine a lot of these are going to make money? Even in the social networking space, a lot of these Web 2.0 companies are promising, but where's the business plan?
I have no idea how the social networking companies will make money. Maybe highly personalized, highly targeted advertising, if advertisers ever wise up to that. For the media folks, for the blogs, it's going to be traditional media stuff.
Right.
I hope that the ad formats evolve to be a little more tasteful, because right now I feel like many of them can be kind of garish. And you visit the site, some of them start to feel like the Las Vegas Strip, everything's flashing and blinking and moving
Matt,
around.
some of us like, not innocent fellows like you, but some of us like the Las Vegas Strip. But what do you see that's promising in advertising? Something that you've seen, online that's...
I haven't seen anything really innovative that caught my eye since Google.
Right. Why don't you come up with it, Matt?
I'm thinking about it, but honestly, it's not what I'm most passionate about. I like enabling people to publish on the web. And the monetization side is something, honestly, we think about, but I don't think we've had any brilliant ideas around it.
So what do you see the big, interesting trend right now happening in the web in general?
Big, interesting trend. I would say that the idea that when everyone starts publishing, it's not necessarily a mob rule, and it's not sort of a flight towards mediocrity. I read so many blogs now that are so much better than things I get from mainstream media.
Right.
That it's really inspiring, and I've created. This is way ahead of the time, but through my RSS and Google Reader and everything, I have a personal newspaper I wake up to every morning, and every single post is horribly interesting to me.
The Matt Times, in other words.
And that's kind of cool. I don't know if that ever goes mainstream, or if that's just something like I'm geeky, so I do it.
Well,
but that's kind of cool.
And what's overhyped from your perspective? What needs to sort of ratchet back? Besides a huge valuation for WordPress and a sale that will net you zillions.
Overhyped. If you had asked me like 30 minutes ago, I could have answered. But honestly, I think a lot of the things that are called overhyped, like for example Dig, people criticize it. I think there's a ton of promise there. If they're able to solve the personalization problem, that's a huge opportunity, a big internet scale opportunity. So I think that there's a nugget of good stuff in almost everyone.
Excellent. Matt, as usual, Matt from Texas is so nice. He's an optimistic optimist, which I'll explain later. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.